What's up, Internet? Rich Malky back for another podcast. Welcome to the Care Factor. Today we have a very special guest, Marty Olson from SmartCare. Marty, introduce yourself to the Care Factor Nation. Tell them a little about yourself.
Hey, so I'm a district manager for SmartCare Equipment Solutions in Minneapolis, born and raised here. Been working for SmartCare for 4 years. We obviously do kitchen repair and equipment repair, just like you guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a wide array of service industry background that I've come from, but this is definitely one of the most enjoyable jobs I've ever had. It's a challenge every day, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the beginning to young Marty.
Yeah,
Um, how old are you?
I am 45.
Okay, so you're 45.
Yep.
So where's the hometown? Where are you from?
Hometown is Prior Lake, Minnesota. It's a suburb of Minneapolis. Is about 20 minutes south of the city.
Okay. So growing up there, school, high school, what was
Yep,
college? You did the college thing?
yep. So I had high school in Bloomington, Minnesota, which is a little north of me at this point, and then I went to a community college for a little bit, and then transferred down to Winona, which is a small town in southern Minnesota, and went to school for
Okay.
actually plastics engineering, and wasn't ended up not being what my passion was, so
Yeah.
I did end up going into that. But yeah, I spent a couple years down in Winona, and then moved back to the city's home base.
Okay. So, and now we fast forward a little bit. Let's talk a little bit just to get everybody a background to his family. Married, kids, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm married. I've got a large family. I'm remarried, so I have three of my own, and then I have two stepsons. So
Okay.
I have a 11-year-old daughter, I have a 16-year-old boy, and I got an 18-year-old boy, and then I have a 21-year-old stepson and a 26-year-old stepson.
Oh wow.
So
All right. Blended
big,
family. Boom.
big family, big
Yeah.
joint.
That's awesome. And what about siblings? Any brothers and sisters?
Oh yeah, I have two brothers and three sisters.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's like my father. My father has same thing. Two brothers and three sisters.
Yeah, big family.
Yeah.
Grew up, so as you know, in a big family, it's you better eat fast or you're not going to get any.
That's right. So we'll dive in a little bit more to you. So you started out working at a manufacturing company, welders, plasma cutters, all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that kind of portion of your life.
Yeah, so when I got out of college, I was coming back. My mom worked for a manufacturer, and in fact, I was trying to find a job, so I applied at the city, and they were going to give me a job to tear fencing down. But I had worked at a sign company in college, so I was very good on the computer and graphic design and stuff. And they had a contract position open for somebody to do tech writing for manuals. So I joined the company there because it was more money, and at the time it was good money for a college kid right out of college. I'm like, hey, let's do this. So I got into tech writing, and then I worked my way through the company to get a full-time position, and I went to tech service. So I dealt with customers calling in and having to troubleshoot our products and fix them and get them up and running. And then I moved into customer service shortly after that, and then I led a project for our changeover from Y2K. We changed over our system because everybody was worried that it wasn't going to work, so we changed
Mm-hmm.
over, and I was a lead on that project. So it was a great experience, man. For coming to now, understanding how manufacturing and the challenges that are involved with that, and then selling
Mm-hmm.
products through dealers, which is obviously a big part of this industry.
Yeah, that's huge. So then from there, uh, Aramark. You were at Aramark for 10 plus years. What
Yep.
was that? What was that like?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I jumped into Aramark. I became a route driver. And then my first year, I was, delivering products all through southern Minnesota and selling as well. And when I um, worked through the ranks there and became a service manager, and then which oversaw all the routes and helped them picked up routes when they were sick, and then I moved into a district manager role. So it was the as I call it, the dirty laundry business, literally dirty laundry, but
Yeah.
it was a great experience. Inside kitchens, universities, all these people that I deal with now, back running into people from when I was out and about, that I know still through this industry, it was also a big help in getting going in this industry and understanding some of the challenges they have
Yeah.
and that. So
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely logistics involved and understanding the urgency of what's going on behind the scenes in
right.
these kitchens. Not many people realize that until they get their foot in the door.
No, I mean towels. I mean, we used to call them specials. You know, you have to do a special run on a Friday
Hmm.
night because they're out of towels, and it's important.
Wow.
It's like having a piece of equipment down. They don't have something to clean the counters. It's 911. So you know you have to
Yeah.
go out and take care of the customer.
Yeah, and these are things that I think the average person would never think about.
Never.
Food shows up to a table, things are clean, things are realized there's people and process behind the scenes actually making all this happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that too. And when I think about the rep industry, you know, and being a dealer, when I got into the rep and we were doing again, it was automotive, but nobody has a clue that you know when you see stock shelves and all the products put up on a on a display,
Hmm.
that's not the store doing that. That's the rep having to go out and reset the product and manage their
Yeah.
product. And not a lot of people wouldn't know those things. You just
No.
things. It's
Yeah. Yeah. These are the behind the scenes things that nobody realizes. So it says here, we talked a little bit before. So after 7 months with the company, you promoted to district manager. This is at Ecolab now, though.
Yeah, so it was
So
Ecolab
you got to
Equipment,
Ecolab.
and we changed names in the process. But yeah, I got put into I applied and was a service manager, and then after 7 months, I was promoted to district manager, and I've been doing that ever since. So
Yeah, and that's with SmartCare right now. That's
correct,
SmartCare.
yep. So
So
we were sold off to a private equity firm and changed our name, and now we're standalone
yeah,
and well.
yeah, the parts business was sold off, Parts Express, and you're
Correct,
just focused on the service end right now.
correct, yep.
So it says here you're running three guys in Fargo, 19 in Minneapolis. So you got some techs to oversee.
We do. You do. I have a service manager in place, which when I go back to my the 4 or 5 months I did it on my own, and I
Hmm.
think, wow, how did I do this on my own? But it's we work well together. But yeah, there's a lot that goes on, on a daily basis from truck repairs, possible accidents, customer 911s, having to juggle. It's a lot to manage. Luckily, my techs in Fargo have been, two of them been there for 20 plus years, so they pretty much manage themselves. So you know, I'm there to support, but I don't have to be in the market all the time because they're such good technicians.
Yeah, yeah. So and just I'm always fascinated to understand how other people work with technicians because I think we may be in agreement that technicians are a interesting bunch of individuals.
Yeah.
Um, they like things the way they like them. They want things the way they want them.
Yep.
And dealing with different personalities can be tough.
Yep.
So, and just for me, for learning too, I'm trying to learn from as many people as I can as I'm talking to them, and as we're growing. So we have 15 technicians here in total, and how are you handling? From for manager to employee perspective for technicians, how are you handling some of the gripes and sometimes with overtime and the guys are angry when you send them on another call? How do you handle some of these personalities?
Yeah, really, I've made a living on this, and I really believe in treating everybody like a person, right? I don't believe that. I always tell them, I'll listen to you first. I always listen, and I'll hear them out, and then we'll have a discussion about it, and try to find a common place, paint inside the lines, and make a good, positive uh, move forward. And if you do that, as well as I mean, when I first started here, I didn't know anything about kitchen equipment, so I had to make sure that they understood I'm a hard worker. So I climb up on roofs and hold a refrigeration pipe or hold up a compressor, lift it in for them,
Mm-hmm.
tell them you're willing to work. So I think at the heart of it is just to treat them like a person, let them know that I'm not always going to agree with you 100%. I'll try to. I I always use the analogy of, and I've learned this in a leadership course, of the beach ball. What do you see
Okay.
on each side of the beach ball? I see one side. Now, what do you see on yours? We all have to see each other's side of the beach ball, and then we can work together.
Okay. I
And
like
we've got
that.
a really good team here that has really bought into it because we are a team. It's not an individual game. This is a team game.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is the ultimate team sport in business for sure. What we're doing here. Um, so I wanted to mention this too. So you became a member of the Toby Golf Tournament
Yep.
committee, and that's raising money for food hospitality students. So let's talk a little bit about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so we have a committee that in this fact bought lots of different. We have general parts. Some of our competitors even on the committee, and we work together. We put a golf tournament together every year. That then we have scholarships given out. That we go and actually give a scholarship out based on the monies that we raise to the golf tournament. It's a great way to keep the industry going and keep get more people involved in the industry that fuels our revenue, obviously, because you keep that going. So
Mhm.
it's been a great experience. We give away prizes and we're booked up. We put that tournament out and within if you don't get in the first day, you may not get in the tournament. That's how
Wow,
popular it's become.
that's great.
So
Yeah, I love
yeah,
that. So I'm gonna jump into some industry things now that have kind of been happening. I was wondering how, because we've been talking about it here with all the way that this everything's changing fast. Any comments or thoughts on industry mergers and buyouts? You know, especially with the big parts houses that we see now. What's
yeah.
your thoughts on any of that?
I mean, it's definitely the way I saw it going, and since I've been in. It's been moving more and more that way. I think,
Mm-hmm.
with Heritage and Partstown, we had already moved our parts to Partstown, and them merging. I think that it's not a bad thing. I think everybody has already kind of got their parts from the same people to begin with, so
Yeah,
they can, there's times where you have a part that says it's back ordered for months, and then you have to look out for other resources, and sometimes that was Heritage, and so we already do some of that. So I think it's
sure.
a good thing. um, I think
Yeah,
there's a place for all our companies in this business, right? We're competitors, but we're at heart, we're we're pretty much collaborators. I mean, we all have our
sure.
struggles, and if you work together like that, there's a piece for everybody to do well, and so I think with those mergers, I think that it just hopefully will help improve parts time and things like that for us. So I,
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing.
yeah, and I don't disagree. I do think there's a good thing. I also have the other end of the spectrum where I kind of get nervous with stuff like this because now this one company pretty much owns the entire parts distribution market.
Right.
Um, listen, I think it's just natural human nature in business to think that, okay, what's going to happen over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? Are our discounts going to start changing? Are things going to start, moving in that direction? And then on top of that, and you're probably seeing this, we're seeing it here, customers wanting to supply their own parts.
Yes.
So my
Yes.
question to you is, how are you handling that? Because I know how I'm handling it. I'll tell you about it, but I just curious to see how you're handling that.
So when I took over the district, there was a lot of we don't do it. We don't install their people's parts. And what I explain to customers is that, first of all, we have to offer a warranty. So when two things, we put that part in, and that, let's just say that unit blows up and it's your own part. We have no idea where you got it. Who's responsible? We own the unit now because we put it in, but we didn't buy
Mm-hmm.
the part. So it's a protection for both sides. Secondly, we warranty, we have to warranty it, right? And we have to do the warranty returns. It's not, we don't make money. We're here to make money as just as well as they are. We're not here. We don't make money on just labor.
Right.
So we don't do it. And usually the customer can understand it. The warranty thing is a big one that we push and let them know that. There is a time where I'll help out somebody and say, I'll do it this time, but there's no warranty on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Understand that. But and it's the age old thing where when you talk to customers, how do you relay it? And if you have a good relationship, there's been times where you can use the old adage, like, you got to understand, like, I couldn't come to your restaurant and have you cook chicken. I can't bring chicken to you and have you cook it for labor. You wouldn't do
Yep.
that for me either. So we're here to be fair, but that's just something we can't do.
Yeah. No, you said it all. And I was going to give the analogy too with, hey, listen, I'm going to come to the restaurant with a burger and a bun. You're going to cook it for me? And I'm going to say, hey, listen, just charge me for whatever the labor is. What is it? Maybe $2.50.
Yeah,
I don't need to pay that whole $12 for the meal. I mean, it's
yeah,
the same. It really is the same thing. And there's a liability issue too. You don't know where I got this meat. Is it going to make me sick? And now I'm going to come back to you and say, you made me sick.
right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those things and it's happening. And I've actually lost a pretty decent customer because they were trying to supply parts. And I not only said you're not going to have a warranty to them, I explained to them my labor rate because it was a lot of locations. They had a
Yeah,
discounted labor rate. I said, you're now going back to my regular street rate.
right.
They couldn't understand any of this. So they said, well, we're not going to do business with you anymore. And I don't think that's my customer at the end of the day anymore. So I was, we parted ways. So,
Yeah, so, and sometimes those, sometimes they come back when they
oh
realize,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
because you're not any different than any other company. I mean, we're all get, like I tell them, all get the parts from the same places. It's, it's just, if you can reshape their mind, that's the thing. You got to make them understand that other side of the beach ball, because it's, if they were in business, they don't do it in their end. They gotta understand that you can't do it in automotive. I would say call that out as automotive industry for years.
hmm
There's no shop that will let you, unless it's a handyman on the side,
right,
is going to let you do. But if you do a handyman that's putting your parts in, and when it burns down, the restaurant burns down, is that handyman got insurance to cover your building? Those are the things that we have to that we take responsibility for when we supply the parts. So
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the number one thing. Like I'm trying to continue to drive value into what we do. There's a major value add. If you want to go start supplying parts, all this other stuff, it devalues what we actually do anyway. So yeah, you want the warranty, you want the expertise, you want us to be there if it breaks down on Easter Sunday or on a Friday night or no matter what. There's a value in what you're paying
yeah,
for. That's true.
yeah,
Um,
totally agree.
Yeah, and so in every market, we might see a lot of different equipment, more so of others. I think the one constant, I think, from what I'm seeing, is combi ovens saturating the market more and more. Um,
Absolutely.
I love talking about this with people because I'm trying to make our installation division better as well. With rationales, we're doing a lot of rationale installs. I'll just bring them up. Are you guys seeing rationale combis? I'm sure you are.
We have quite a few rationale. We do get quite a bit of Alto-Sham and Convotherm is big here.
Okay.
Um, they're making a good effort, and they're a pretty good unit. So yeah, we do see quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm kind of like going towards the question of how are these installations going for you? Are you, because I'm finding in a lot of these cases, we're getting into a lot of tight spaces, and these things are not, these aren't paperweights. I mean, these things are 800 pounds, some of these things, and stacking them and doing site. Are you guys stacking them on site? Are you seeing a little
So
bit of both?
so yeah, so
Manpower, 2 guys, 3 guys. What's going on with all
So what we do, typically we use one guy for the installation, but one of our guys, and we do not stack ourselves, do not stack or move anything. We use a company called B&D Movers, who are movers
that?
that do this work. They're a transfer company that's done work for us forever, and they come in, they get those things in there safely and like really quick. And it probably would cost them more money to have us as individuals stack it and do those things than it does to put use that professional company.
Wow, that's a great idea. I'm making a note of that.
And it's funny you mentioned. I just had a combi. It was like 6 months ago, and we did the site survey. We got it. They're getting ready to go, and at the last minute they decided, well, we're gonna put the combi, just so you know, when you come, we're putting it on the other side, because it was a kosher kitchen, so it had two sides. And
Hmm.
I'm like, that should be fine, because nobody thought about it, but they didn't check their hood. The hood was lower on the other side. So we had to have our movers come down, and they tried to tilt it under, and they ended up having to get permission from the factory to shave the stacks because they couldn't get it underneath. It was
Wow.
too low. But those subtle changes, you do a site survey, those things matter. You got to think of every avenue. It's tight.
It's Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things that we struggle with here, right? With manufacturer reps and dealers that are saying, "Hey, can you go install this?" That's on a Monday, and okay, well, when are you looking for it? Tomorrow morning. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, they think, because they think, and it happened over and over and over every single day. Well, you think you can't just swing a guy in 1, 2, 3 kind of just do this? No.
Yeah.
What do you? I don't know the thinking, and I try to have empathy for all ends. I'm sure that they're dealing with stuff that I have no idea about. But
Yeah.
when they call me and they look for us to get it done, and then they get angry when you tell them no, it's like, listen, I'm doing this for you, okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you no for you, because if we just go and do this, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, and there's lots to, the safety piece too. We're a big safety. Obviously, I think all of us, safety is number one.
Number one.
But I just wrote an article in FES magazine, a little parting shot that talks about it. It's kind of related. We get customers that are angry when we have to red tag a unit and say, you cannot use this unit. There's a fry pot's leaking. It's going to cause a fire. And I wrote a story because there was a restaurant down south of here that the technician who now works for us was the technician at the time for General Parts. Red tagged the unit, said you cannot use it. This is why. And the restaurant deemed that they needed to and figured a way to hook it back up. They burned the restaurant down, never opened again. And so it's like we do these things to keep everybody safe. You can replace a building, you can replace a piece of equipment, you can't replace a human being, and everybody matters. It's not just
Yes.
us, it's your employees. It's you got to
100%.
be safe.
Yeah, I
So
mean that's key. And that's something else that we really that's one of the important pieces of our job. I tell you, we have very important jobs here. These technicians have employees that at other jobs that if we make one wrong move, things can go awry. So
yep.
yeah, that's super important. That's terrible to hear that they just devalue what you guys are telling them. It's not right.
Yeah, I mean, in the short term, that penny wise, as they thought, decision was vital in saving by buying a new piece of equipment and getting it in. I mean, it turned into disaster. You lost the business over maybe the fryer probably is maybe a $5,000 fryer. Was it
That's it.
worth it? Obviously, they're going to say no now.
Yeah, yeah, man. And so switching gears a little bit, technology and communication for service technicians. We're going to 2020. We're going to 2020 and beyond. New decade. Everything is smartphone and tablet. Everything is, how fast, transparency, all these different things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk a little bit about what SmartCare is doing, and also maybe what you foresee coming down the line for technology and technicians.
Yeah, so we've gone through our changes. We had a system in with Ecolab that worked okay, didn't work the greatest. Then we designed a new app, and we developed for PMs. It's a digital. We scan in the equipment. We have steps to do, and it's all electronic, and that's great. We're now moving into a new software package that's going to drive all our systems to. And the key is it's going to help the communication to the customers, to the techs, delight them from the time of service, time the call is made all the way to the end of it, with digital reporting revolving around, what's been done on the equipment, having that information at the fingertips so the techs can do their job more efficiently, and trying to get out a little bit out of too many emails. I don't know if you guys have the techs get a lot of emails, and that's one of the struggles some of the techs have is like, I'm not a guy that I want to fix the equipment. Responding to all this emails is driving me crazy. So, we're trying to figure out, and I think we got a really good path to minimize that clutter for them and get them back to being more efficient, able to work on things and get things done, better.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way of the world. I mean, we all want things at our fingertips. I know for us, we've been running on some software for 10 years, industry software, and I think right now we're going to be looking to make a shift, make a change as we've been growing. And one of those things that I want transparency. I want all the stuff, the report. I mean, we have reporting now, but I really want the customer web portal that we have to be much more dynamic and user friendly, to be able to go in from your phone and just kind of look at different things. And we can say, hey, let's jump on the app, take a look at this. And for the technician side too, to be able to jump in and see this history a lot faster than they are right now. It's just, that is everything, creating an experience through the service.
Absolutely. Like the question why we've been driving this and starting to develop this is the age-old question is, what do you really know about your equipment? You can go back and search through about 20 work orders, but can you get a good report really quick to understand maybe I shouldn't spend this $2,000 on this piece, even though I've been told 5 times in a work order that I should consider replacing it? They don't see that. They want it fixed because they need it for operation. But if they have that bell that says, hey, you've already spent over the $2,000 over what you probably should have on this equipment, do you want to replace it? And they might say no, but at least gives them the option and gives it digital reporting, and gives them insights on their equipment. And that's what we're starting to provide now for customers, which I think is a real advantage.
Yeah. So and with that technology, I was at Cefesa, the conference in DC, and Geiner was there, and he had mentioned that you guys put in dash cams.
Yes.
So I'm
Yep.
curious to hear your take on that, and maybe some of your technicians that you work with on a regular, their take on that, because I feel like, and I don't know, everyone's different, I guess, but I just feel this is a gut. I don't know because I never really talked about it here, but I feel like people are going to feel Big Brother, get angry, and just not be happy about that. So I'm just curious to see.
Yeah, so lytics, it's the lytics cams I put in, and it doesn't, they doesn't only captures when they have an event, a collision, a hard braking. So there's a bunch of different triggers. The technicians were skeptical, it's a lot of them were. They're like, oh, it's an invasion of privacy, and um, but what we've seen is when you talk to them, because you get it helps with driving habits. I mean, let's face it, before we had like breadcrumbs to figure out when we had an event. We didn't have any camera. We had no idea if they did anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody gets in an accident, somebody's saying it's our fault. We had no evidence of whether it was or not. And what we found is, in some of the behaviors, even when it isn't an event that actually was even close to an accident, it shows them that they weren't looking. They can see how their eyes weren't focused farther down the road. They didn't see the light stopping. They were, you could have caused a big accident. And once you start showing some of the ones that they're not supposed to be on their phone as a company policy, and there's been guys that have made poor decisions and are caught on it, and it's almost caused major accidents, and it's a big deal. So it's getting better, and when you talk to them and explain and show them on the video what they may have done wrong, even if it's little, I think they now are starting to appreciate that, hey, they can understand why that helps them, and
Yeah.
it's used as a coaching tool, this is not an I got you moment. This is about being
Right.
right. So
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I like it. It's something I'm going to be thinking about as we move into the new year. Like I said, there's a lot of corrective issues and corrective moments, not the I gotcha moment. That's not really what it's for. We're not here. We're not sitting here. Even with GPS, we're not sitting here. Oh, let's watch Dave or Joe and see what they're.
yeah, I tell the
That's
guys,
not what we're doing.
no, the guys that I've had, like, one of my texts in Fargo, he said, I'm like, Darren, Darren, I have way better things to do than watch you all day. I know if as long as you're safe, you're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about it. Just
Yeah.
do your job. And if you have an event, and something happens and you weren't doing anything wrong, it's going to be just pass on by. But if you're on your phone and you nearly hit somebody, it's a problem. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I wanted to also now talk a little bit about media, as I've been getting much more heavily involved with video and branding content and all these different things. So
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we're talking here right now, I think, because of LinkedIn. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so that just shows you the power of building relationships. We've taken it from one step online to the podcast. Next thing might be somewhere in person. Maybe we'll get together at some point. And this
Yeah.
is the developing relationship. So what's your let everyone know your take on social media in 2020 here.
Oh, I think social media is a great tool. It needs to be utilized more. I've really stepped up on LinkedIn to post more things to get our, I look at it as an employee of the company. It's still my company, and so we need to do, if we want to develop our brand and get known out there, just like we talked earlier, how people might not know all the things that go on in this industry. You got to get it out there, and
Yeah.
this is a great way to do it. And you've been doing a great job. That's why I mean, I
Yeah.
obviously
Thank you.
connected because like this is exactly what we need. And I talked to two technicians this morning who I had mentioned I was doing the podcast, and they said that we were just talking how we need more of that, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The industry is kind of, you say you fix commercial equipment and they don't know what you're talking about. Well,
Yeah.
you get that out there and use social media. It's a really good tool. And I
Yeah.
think it'll expand even more.
Yeah. And our industry is we were talking about we often refer to it as the biggest little industry on the planet, and people don't know about it unless you've found your way into it through either a family business or people just kind of fall into it, and once they get here,
Yeah.
they never leave. And that just goes to show you how amazing the industry actually is and the opportunities that exist here. But I think we're stuck in and we talk about it at Fest all the time, the good old boys club. We talk about the same. Everything's been the same forever and ever and ever. And I'm over here talking about, listen, we got to build personal brand. We got to build our personal brands online right now through LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the platforms that matter. So personal branding. What's your thoughts on personal branding in our industry, um, from from a service perspective? Maybe from your thoughts back from manufacturing and rep dealer side. I mean, I think it's important for all channels. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think personal branding is important and what you're about, because otherwise somebody just sees the name and it's just, well, they're a service company, but what are you about? What's behind that? You know, as I say all the time, is I treat my customers not as a customer. I always tell them, like, you're my partner. We're a partner in this. Let's work together. We'll be fair on each side, and you'll keep going. And right down to the dealers, when you're working with manufacturers reps, all they want is they want to get their customers help. And when you go out and you do a good job, I've talked to one of my local reps that we have a great relationship, is I uphold your brand by getting out there quick. When I do a good job, then your brand holds its name, and then that customer sees that we did a good job, and we get more business from it. So showing what you're about, is a key. Yeah, personal brand, branding of the company and what's behind the company. It's not, you know, SmartCare. What does that mean? Well, what are we about? We got to
Right.
get that message out there more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crucial going forward. People are like, "Oh, do I really need this?" And I'm going to say you don't really need it, but I think if you want to be successful in the future, if you want to be sustainable, and if you want to work and build and grow your opportunity, you have to be here doing these things.
Absolutely.
Because I talk in the presentations that I've been doing all over the country. I talk about millennials in the workforce, 75 million plus. We own the workforce today, and I know me, and you too probably. When you are going to go do business with somebody, the first thing you do is go check out the websites, media. I want to see who they are, what are they doing.
Yep.
If they have a lackluster website from like 1999, and they just have something slapped there, and they have zero media presence, or they have a Facebook page, but they only posted the first time they opened it. It kind of tells me a little bit about this company. Like, they're not really. Do they care? I wonder if they care.
Yeah, you gotta that care level is important, right? You gotta if you want to be successful in this day and age, yes, the media is key. And when some people are like, I don't even understand Instagram. My wife owns a business, and I've been doing more. She switched to spots, and I'm doing her social, and she doesn't understand it, but she's like,
Nice.
hey, this is great. But it's amazing how many people you're able to reach, right? And if you're just one of those businesses that are sitting there, yeah, you're going to stay right here, or you're going to eventually decrease, because you're not going to gain new customers. People go online, and you have to have all avenues, and increase your presence. And Google searches is
Mm-hmm.
looking for content. If you've got videos uploading,
Yes.
you're going to get higher up there, and people don't understand those things, and sometimes they think, oh, it's so convoluted that I don't know how to do it. Trust me, it's not that hard. You just got to do a little
Nope.
research.
All you need is one of these.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all you need. And um, just to start putting out things. People say, I don't know what to talk about. You know exactly what to talk about. You have a business. You're in business. You're dealing with issues all day. Talk about those things. People want to know what's going on. People want to talk and communicate with you about this stuff. And it's going to open doors and opportunity that you never even knew you wanted. And I say that all the time when I'm talking,
Yeah.
because I'm not a public speaker. 4 or 5 years ago, you would have never told me I'm going to get up in front of 60 people, 100 people, and talk. And now
Right.
there's a whole new thing that's come about from this. And
Yeah, I think it's good, and I think my assessment of that is, you're passionate, right? You're passionate. You got to be passionate about it. And I would say the same thing. Years and years ago, I probably wouldn't speak in front of people. I have no problem talking to anybody and any amount of people, because it's just a conversation, and I'm passionate about it, and I love to talk about it.
yeah,
You got to want to do it, and I've even had technicians, that were concerned about some things, and I'm like, hey, you got to give it a chance. I said, I just like you, I probably, I'm never going to be, I have not ever been able to do this thing that you need to do on this dish machine. But if I got training and I practice at it, eventually I'd hopefully be able to do an okay job at it. So you got to practice it. Just like my speaking, as I said, no, I wasn't good at public speaking at first, but I, I'm passionate and I learned and I did it. You just got to put the effort in. And if you do, the things are going to
Yeah.
come. And
Effort. I mean, that's the key word. Just put the effort in, and don't tell me you have no time, because that people always say, "Oh, I have no time. I'm busy." We're all busy. We all have 24 hours. You can not tell me you don't have 30 minutes a day to just go, "Hey, what's up, LinkedIn? I just wanted to jump on and talk about." We all have a few minutes.
yeah, it's a priority. You just got to
It's
make it. You got to make it a priority. Otherwise, it goes
yeah,
by the wayside. But it can bring you so much opportunity. I mean, I went from 200 LinkedIn connections up to like 770 in literally less than 2 months
yeah,
because I put effort into it. Put into it. The company wants us to be more visible, and that's what I've been doing. And
yeah,
it's achievable. And the amount of connections I've had with different things and nice ideas and sharing and collaborating. It's not all about just promoting your own brand. You can learn
mm-mm.
from each other. We're
Yeah,
not. It's. I don't think it's the day. The day and age has changed. It's not. It's not me against you. You know, this company's terrible. I'm the greatest. You know,
yeah.
we can work together and we have common interests and we need to.
I'm all about it. I'm community over competition. I'm all for that. And I want to talk too about finding new talent, because that's another thing we all talk about, right? We need more technicians. And through the media channels, over the last, I'd say, month and a half, I sat down with 3 possible technician candidates that we're looking at right now. All found me through my videos.
Yeah.
They said, "Rich, I would have never even known you existed until I saw your YouTube. I saw this." So it's working, but you got to be consistent. So just to talk about finding talent, though, what are some ways are you guys um, doing to attract new talent? Media channels, Indeed, I mean, all these different things.
Yeah, we use Indeed a lot. We search Indeed, LinkedIn, and we have
Yeah,
talent recruiters looking through there, and a lot of our, and then obviously tech referrals.
yeah, yeah,
I was fortunate enough to get a technician who has knocked it out of the park. He's been here a year. He referred one guy, that guy referred another guy, and then that one referred another one. So we ended up having like 4 technicians that have been doing some of this work, all based on the one referring. But you do have to search all avenues. I've tried. I mean, through the years already, through the 4 years, I've tried everything.
yeah,
I hired a licensed technician, electrician to try and get him, and it ended up not working out. But I'm willing to take the gamble because it is tough. Nobody wants to work with their hands these
yeah.
days, and the ones that the ones that come out of school are in high demand. We're also searching HVAC. We put some competitions together for referrals for HVAC
Mm-hmm.
technicians to give them another option. We go to the schools and try to put presentations together, let them know, hey,
Yeah,
if you maybe HVAC isn't exactly you're in it, but it's not exactly what you want to do. Maybe this is a better option for you, and that seems to work as well. But I think we all have that struggle of finding
yeah.
qualified individuals, and we do have a test kitchen as well. We actually have a kitchen in Indianapolis that we send guys, newer technicians, to for 4 weeks total
Oh wow.
not in a row, but we do it
Right.
we do hot site training, and we do a separate refrigeration training 1 week at a time for 4 total weeks.
That's
So
great. I like that. Yeah. Um, for me too, I think you've probably seen I've been speaking at different schools. I was just at one yesterday, actually, Bergen County Technical here in New Jersey. It's high school kids, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but it's an opportunity to kind of plant seeds and let them know that it exists. And I'm going to be putting that out. You'll see that talk
yeah,
coming up. But and then from here, my local school, I had two guys that we trained for a good solid year, and it's a gamble. Like you said, everything we do here when we're hiring for new technicians, it's a gamble. But sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, thankfully, I got 2 guys that just got on their own vans at the beginning of October, and they're
yeah.
rocking and rolling. We're thankful, and hopefully I'm going to do some new trainee stuff now from this high school. I'll see who's going to be graduating and who reaches out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually had a tech we've had a competition for a fantasy football type competition for referrals and getting people hired. And when my tech graduated, that's here as a top tech in the company, and he graduated from a college out of Chicago, and
Mm-hmm.
he reached out to them and asked them about their, if they had, resumes, and they said that they had talked to our company, but they didn't have enough information. And he sat down and talked to them for 20 minutes and within a week he had 5 resumes for the Chicago district, and he doesn't even work there, but it's helping the company. So
Yeah.
there's opportunity there. We just, as again, we go back to not knowing this industry. People don't know it exists.
Mhm.
That's why it's so important to push it forward.
Yeah, and that's what we got to make this thing super noisy and continue to talk about it on this level. And I gotta ask this because this is a little complete shift when we're talking about. But the Popeye chicken sandwich craze, I gotta ask you, have you tried it?
The Popeyes?
Yeah.
I have not tried it.
No.
We don't
Okay.
have a ton of. We only have a couple here,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
but
Someone,
maybe I'll
someone,
have to go
someone
try
was.
it.
Yeah. I mean, they're back now after months of being gone, and we just did a Rich and Angel show episode. We talked about someone on Monday in Maryland was stabbed to death for cutting a line in Popeyes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, over a chicken sandwich. I don't know, but it's. I was just curious if you had that. What is your favorite fast food restaurant if you had to pick?
My favorite fast food restaurant, I would say actually Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is top notch.
They're so good.
And it goes to, I love that. I mean, I've even talked to my son. I'm like, see, this is how you talk to people. This is how we do it in the business. You gotta
Yeah.
be a person and be cordial, and my pleasure, that just goes
Yeah.
a way long.
And that just goes to show you a brand. I mean, you're attracted to the brand. I mean, the food is good, but you're also attracted to the brand and what they do and how they talk to you and how they just how they carry themselves, their values and
Yeah.
closed on Sunday and all these different things that are interesting about them. It makes you want to go there.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. My son was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, and I got him to understand, but I'm like, it makes a difference, how you're talked to.
it
Um,
does. It does.
that,
Treat people with respect and
absolutely.
let them know. Listen, we're no one's better than anybody here. We're just trying to get things done at the end of the day, and let's figure out the best way to do that. So you can go home safe to your family. I'll go home to mine, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
I think upset customers, are one of my favorite people to talk to. It's my first opportunity to be the hero, correct their problem, and help them understand who I am and who we are, and that you don't need to yell at me to get me to do anything, right? We can work together and we'll get it, and it makes a difference,
It
just
absolutely does. Yeah, I mean it is. That's the best opportunities to be able to jump on a phone and like you said, be the hero. Who doesn't want to be a hero? So now you have an opportunity. And the quiet customers. I was talking about this with someone else earlier this year. Your quiet customers are your most dangerous. The ones that
Oh,
are
absolutely.
angry and telling you that's your opportunity.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Um, what's your favorite city to travel to?
Favorite city to travel to? There's quite a few, but I would say Orlando,
Orlando? Are you
Florida.
are you a big Disney guy or just
Uh,
Orlando?
yeah, I grew up as a kid. My dad worked for the airline, so we got to go a lot. So I took my kids there a year and a half ago again, and yeah, I like going there. That and
Yeah.
Virginia. Actually, Virginia Beach is a really nice place to go to.
Yeah. I love Virginia Beach. I love it. I mean, first of all, I'm a big Disney guy. I love Disney. Um, but Virginia Beach, I love the Hilton over there on the ocean front.
Oh yeah.
They have that restaurant there. I think that the bathroom in that restaurant was a Catch 22. I think it's called.
Okay.
They have like the number one rated bathroom in the country. For anyone, I don't know if that matters to anybody, but I read that.
I think it matters.
Yeah. And then what about any kind of current books maybe you want to, or any audiobooks, books, or any information out there that you want to put out to people, maybe
You
recommend?
know, we just took part in a Maxwell leadership course. John Maxwell, The 5 Levels of Leadership. It's a great, great book. It's helped me immensely as a leader. And it breaks it down into a really good understanding of how the positions of leadership. When you're just level one, you've got the position because you're not, because you're just in the title, and people don't follow you by doing that. They don't. You've got to get past that. So eventually, you got to get people's permission to lead, and the pinnacle is the hardest, which is the top one always to get there. But just simple concepts of working with people and understanding how they work and understanding how you work. It's a great tool. I've used it a lot lately, and that beach ball analogy I used earlier is right from that book, and I've
Okay.
read the book twice. It's amazing.
Great. Well, I just wrote it down. I'm going to check that out because I'm in a position right now where, leadership is like crucial for me to be able to take this thing to the next level. And I'm doing the best I can from my experiences and what I know, but I am not anywhere near who I know I need to be. So this is something I'll definitely look into. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
check it out. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's not real hard to grasp. I mean, it's basic concepts with
Mm-hmm.
good information. And if you take you could take the course too. And when they do that, they actually do a right path assessment. And
Okay.
during that training, it was amazing to see he could pinpoint before you broken up into 4 groups, and he'd pinpoint exactly what each group was going to do. An example of a people person, which I think you might be, obviously, that group's the
Yeah.
most loud. They want to have fun. They want to get things done. They're very focused, task oriented, but they want to have fun, and they're going to be the loudest. And our group was the loudest. It's pretty good stuff.
Awesome. I love that. And the last thing I just want to touch on before we say goodbye is there's talk in the industry, again, when I was at the conference, about channel partners. We got the manufacturer, the rep, the dealer, the service company. I guess you got consultants and everything in there. We have our channel partners. We're all trying to work together. One of the things they're talking about is maybe putting out a glossary of terms or terminology. Just for one example would be when a rep or a dealer gets a phone call from a customer and says, I have a warranty service call. Setting an expectation to the customer saying, listen, I'll place a service call for you, not a warranty service call, a service call, because we know that not everything's going to be warranty. And once we plant these things in our customer's head, all these right away, it's warranty. I just paid $30,000 for the steamer. It's warranty. We have to determine whether it's user error, was there an act of God? I mean, who knows what might it be the issue. So we're trying to set the precedence. If we're talking to our channel partners right now, from our service side, maybe how do we feel about all these terminologies? What do we want to tell them?
Yeah, I think that's a key one is the warrant. It's a service call, right? And making sure that because customers get upset when the manufacturer won't cover it. I would challenge manufacturers to be a little bit more understanding in certain situations where they, it's not glaring. It's hard to tell which way it went. So being better with that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest one is understanding the warranty. What does that entail? What does warranty mean? It doesn't always mean that everything's covered.
Right, it doesn't. So, and again, I think it goes back to empathy from everybody, putting ourselves in everybody's shoes and feeling the pressures that they all have, and understanding that things often run downhill, and the service guy is picking it up from everyone. We're the trenches. We're face to face. We're on the phone when something happens, and I think I don't like to discount the other partners because I know they're crucial. I always feel service is the most important piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. I think we connect all the dots, right? If we did a bad job, we get a bad name, but they also get a bad name.
Yeah.
So we got to connect those dots, do a great job, and keep their brand from being defamed, so they can sell more equipment, and we're all partners in it.
That's what we want. Sales sells the first unit. Service sells the second and the third.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm going to close out right here, unless you have anything else on your mind you wanted to maybe talk about.
No, I think we covered it well. I think. At the end of the day, like I said, business partners and treat your customer like partners, and you'll have loyal customers. You always treat them fair; they'll treat you fair, and we all have a place in this business. It's so collaboration is key, and I appreciate you spending the time letting me come on. It's a great opportunity, and we'll keep pushing this forward.
Yeah, no, thank you for taking the time to do it. Collaboration and kindness matters for sure. Yeah. So we will end it there. I appreciate you being on here, Marty. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Care Factor podcast with Maliki. I will see you guys on the next one.